Dr. Serin Mary Regimon, and she is actually a veterinary graduate from Kerala Veterinary and Animal Sciences University, Pukod, and she is now doing her PhD in Texas A&M University, and her main focus of research is in One Health. So let's know more about from her, like what's One Health, and also her journey of being One Health specialist. Okay, hi, Dr. Seren Mary. Welcome to the interview. And how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing, Dr. Veena?
Thank you. I'm doing fine too. Thank you. And so let's start the interview with the first main question. So, what is One Health for those who doesn't know One Health, and what are the major aspects of One Health, and what's the importance of One Health in today's world?
First, I would like to thank you for inviting me for this interview. And I don't call myself a One Health specialist. I'm merely a student of One Health, just like most of us are. For those who don't know, One Health it's a concept which amalgamates environmental health, human health, and animal health. And as a veterinarian, I was already working on animal health. And as a student of One Health, I expanded my interest to the areas of environmental health and human health. So when I was doing my undergrad, I worked on antimicrobial resistance, which is a problem that transcends sectors. So it's a problem in animal health as well as a problem in human health. Here at Texas A&M, my research mainly focuses on the environmental health sector of One Health. So I focus on livestock production and how livestock emissions and its impact on environment can be reduced by use of AI and mathematical modeling.
Oh, okay. That sounds interesting, involving AI and stuff, which is very recent, advancements, right? So that's interesting. You mentioned about like doing research in undergrad. So how did you manage to start a research in undergrad, like in Kerala Veterinary and Animal Sciences University?
So those who don't know, veterinary medicine is not a research program, it's a professional degree where we learn how to diagnose diseases, treat animals, and provide consultations on animal production and overall efficiency. Um, Ever since I was a young kid, I knew I wanted to do research. And at veterinary school, I realized that, okay, we have postgraduate students working on research, and we have PhD students, and we have amazing professors. So I reached out to a couple of my seniors who are pursuing their PhD programs, and I asked them, oh, how do we get into a PhD program? And they said, you need to have research experience, and all you need is ask. You can go and ask your professors. You can go and tell them, okay, this is my area of interest and I know you're doing this. It will be helpful for my future career if I could come to the lab and gain some experience, let it be hands-on vet lab skills or computational skills. So all I did was ask. I identified a faculty who might be able to help me and whose research aligned with my interest at that time. I reached out to them and I talked, okay, this is what I want to do. And they were generous enough to let me be a part of their projects. I didn't do a lot of groundbreaking work or anything. I simply assisted the postgraduate students with their work. I did some sample collection. I did some bacterial culture, antibiotic sensitivity tests, and at the Department of Public Health, I did a survey among veterinarians. At the preventive medicine, I did the bacterial culture. So yeah, little things.
I think that's all it matters when you want to do a PhD abroad too, right? They always want to know like some aspect of your skills which will transcend into your CV, where you can actually put it in the CV and say that I've done it, and somebody like our professors can kind of endorse it. So did you ever get to publish like small case studies or abstracts anywhere in the journals, like Indian journals, or like like our journals, like in Kerala?
So, as I was talking about earlier, I did a survey among veterinarians, and I published the abstract, and I presented a poster at the Kerala Veterinary Science Congress. I think it was in 2019. A lot of undergrads presented, if I'm not mistaken. Quite a few from Pukot Veterinary College presented, and the venue was also Pukot Veterinary College. It helped a lot. Then when I was doing my internship, me and my colleagues, along with the duty doctors of District Veterinary Center Kannur, we published a case of feline pyroplasmosis. We published the case report in Indian Veterinary Journal by IVA.
Okay.
So, yeah, we published that in 2022. That was a case report.
Okay, yeah, interesting. So yeah, you had some publications like in undergrad itself, right?
Yeah, it's nothing major and it's nowhere close to a journal article. All I did was I presented a poster, so I had an abstract in their compendium and I had a case report. That's all.
Okay. Yeah, I think as an undergrad student, that's all. That's all enough, I guess. Like, nobody's expecting you to do some research in like groundbreaking research in your undergrad. So I have actually gone through your LinkedIn profile, and I interestingly got to know that you are the founder of IVSA, International Veterinary Students Association in Pukot. So can you please let me know little bit more about IVSA and what are the opportunities as a veterinarian and students as an IVSA member?
So IVSA is. I came across IVSA by absolute serendipity. I didn't know about this organization before. So during COVID, that's when webinars became a thing, right? So I came across, I think the symposium was called Zoonosis and Public Health Symposium, and it was conducted by an entity called IVSA Asia. So when I attended daily webinars, I saw that there was a session by IVSA Bidar and IVSA Mumbai. So that's the first time I came to know about the organization. Those who don't know, IVSA, or International Veterinary Student Association, it's the largest veterinary student body in the world. If I'm not mistaken, they have around 40,000 members all across the continents. And IVSA Bidar and IVSA Mumbai, they were the first IVSA chapters of India. So after this, I reached out to them and the member organization director of IVSA Global at the time. And we planned to establish a local chapter of this prestigious institution in Kerala. So I was fortunate to have support from the university, the college, my professors, and my colleagues to establish a local chapter in the name of IVSA Pukot at Kerala Veterinary and Animal Sciences University. And immediately after its establishment, we reached out to Manuti Veterinary College. Actually, people of Manuti Veterinary College reached out to us, and I was fortunate to have played a very small role in IVSA Manuti's establishment as well. So yeah, it was an act of absolute serendipity. Like, it wouldn't have happened and otherwise.
Yeah, sometimes some things will find you. That's actually interesting, right? And to be specific, so what are the interesting thing of IVSA? I think like it's a global platform, right, where you can interact with other students as well. They just do so many webinars internationally, and you can connect with students across IVSA all over the globe. That's my understanding. Can you please enlighten me on that, like how it helps for global exchange?
So one of the things IVSA is famous for is exchanges between organizations. So or institutions. Yeah, institutions is the right word to use. So what they do is they'll arrange an exchange. Let's say IVSA Edinburgh and IVSA India. So one is an institution in Scotland. They have an amazing veterinary school there. So they wanted to send their students to India to learn about veterinary care in India. So, and Indian students wanted to go to Scotland. So, IVSA can actually facilitate these exchanges through their organization. So,
Oh,
that was the main goal of IVSA, and IVSA has a lot of partners. If you check their website, it's they have a lot of information over there. They have industry partners, they have NGOs as partners, and they have a presence in almost all the famous veterinary universities in the world. So that's one thing they do, exchanges, cultural and educational exchanges. Due to COVID, during my term, all we did was online exchanges. We would have Google Meet calls, Zoom calls like this, and we'll talk about things. We'll talk about our culture, cuisine, how veterinary medicine is different in this country, and we'll make friends. I still have friends from all across the world only because of IVSA. So it was a very interesting opportunity. And we used to conduct webinars. So just like what we are having right now, we used to have career guidance webinars. Then we would participate in competitions. So yeah, IVSA opens a plethora of opportunities for students.
okay, that's nice. Yeah, I think, do you know anybody who has recently gone, like, physically gone to any other IVSA organization and done some exchange program?
I think maybe 1 or 2 years ago, IVSA
Mhm.
India did an exchange with IVSA Nepal, if I'm not
Nepal.
mistaken. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, but I'm not sure about the details of it because my term, I mean, I
Oh,
have completed my term by that time. So it would be nice if you could direct, if you want real and valid information, it will be nice to reach out to the current office bearers. You can find them on any social media. I believe IVSA India and IVSA Pukod, all of the IVSA local chapters, they have a good social media presence. So all you need is just do a wide search and you'll find a lot of information over there. But yeah,
okay.
people have gone for exchanges. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was wondering, like, how would it work, like, if you ever want to go to, somewhere in Europe or something like that, how will it fit in our curriculum? Because our curriculum is entirely different, right? I don't think it offers a space, or, like, we need that 80% attendance, and I don't know how this, like, and also their curriculum is different, how it will be affect our credits and stuff like that. So I was just curious about that. Yeah, as you said, I think, like, maybe we should reach out to IVSA of the current bearers and maybe talk with them. Okay, yeah, thank you for letting us know about the IVSA in general. So I think it's fairly a new organization too, right? Like, in terms of, even in the global stages, IVSA is fairly new, right? Or
No, global stage. I'm sorry. I'll just cut. Sorry, I cut you off right there. But IVSA on a global level is very old. I'm pretty sure
oh,
it's at 60, 70 years old.
oh, okay. So it
Yeah.
took a long time to reach in India. Okay, like at least in Kerala.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think
Yeah.
in India it started in 2019 or 2018 maybe. Kerala joined in 2020. So I would say we are one of the first few chapters, the original chapters of IVSA India. So yeah, it took a while to reach Asia, I think. So it was mostly in Europe because it's very easy to navigate within European countries, among European countries. So yeah, it took a while to reach here, but I think they're doing very well.
Okay. So it's mainly like the European countries. There is no, like, North America is not in the
Yeah, North
chapters.
America is part of it, but as SAVMA. So you might be aware of AVMA, the American Veterinary Medical Association. They have a
Yeah.
student chapter. So my knowledge regarding this might be outdated. So whoever is listening, I urge you to go and check with the current office bearers. So according to mine, the best of my knowledge, AVMA has a student chapter called SAVMA, Student AVMA, and student AVMA is automatically a member of AVMA. Sorry,
Oh,
IVSA. Yeah.
okay. Okay. Okay.
Yes, Sauma is a member of IVSA. And most of the countries in Europe, they have their own chapters. a national chapter and local chapters. So I think there'll be an IVSA Germany and IVSA Berlin separately.
Oh, okay.
Depending on how many vet schools they have. If they only have just one, there'll be one chapter. And they have a good presence in Africa. I think IVSA Puko did an exchange with IVSA Nigeria National Chapter, which had 3-4 veterinary schools from all across Nigeria. And South Korea has a chapter, and Japan has a chapter, and I have friends at IVSA Colombia, and yeah.
South
I think
America.
Asia is also there. Yeah, I think IVSA has a good presence in almost all the continents.
Okay, that's nice and interesting. Okay, so it's good to know all about those. So moving on to your internship, probably you're the first person I'm meeting who has done an internship in FAO and WSAVA, Wasawa. So how did you end up doing internship in the FAO and Wasawa?
Wasawa was an online thing. They published a call for internship and it was online. But FAO was in person in Italy. I saw the call on LinkedIn and I applied. That's the nutshell form of it. I am an avid user of LinkedIn. Now I have turned it down a notch because I'm busy with my PhD, and PhD will take a lot of time out of your life. But yeah, I used to use LinkedIn a lot, and I applied to FAO. I think when I first applied, I didn't get in. I applied a second time after my CV was stronger, because I had an opportunity to go and talk at an international conference in Ireland, Dublin, during my final year of vet school. That was also that was also by chance. I saw a thing and I applied. So that's how everything in my life turns out to be. So what people see is the tip of the iceberg. I might have sent out 100 applications and maybe 2 got accepted. So yeah, it's just the tip of the iceberg. I saw opportunities and I applied. FAO was like that, and I was fortunate to have found an amazing team over there. I worked on small scale livestock productivity. It was one of the best experiences I could ever have, and that whole experience fueled my interest in livestock productivity and livestock policy, and that's why I'm doing my PhD here at Texas A&M.
Okay, that's interesting. So, for FAO internship, is it like what they're looking for? Is it like research, like how strong you are in research, or in lab skills, or like what do you think? Yeah, I know like they might have their criteria. Like, what do you think? Like, why didn't you get in first time, and what makes you get in second time?
I think my CV got a lot better, and the way I drafted my cover letter was more personalized to the projects they had. So FAO, how you apply to FAO is through a website called Jobs at FAO. You can go there and they'll release a generic call for internships, and you have to have a CV, your test scores. Yeah, that's one of the things I have to mention. I had my TOEFL scores by the second time, so that could have made a difference. So test for English as a foreign language, I did that. So that could be one of the reasons. I still don't know why I got in the second time. And the way I wrote my cover letter was very personalized, and I took inspiration from my internship, my clinical internship. And I wrote down what small scale livestock productivity meant to me, and I basically said I have an interest in following a career in policy, livestock policy, and I am a veterinarian. I have research experience, but I don't think for the particular role I had, vet lab skills you don't need wet lab skills really, but you need to show that you are an analytical thinker. You know how to critically analyze something, because data analysis is a huge part of what FAO does. And the fact that you have a cultural competence, I think that helps, because I had arranged a lot of cultural exchanges with multiple countries, multiple veterinary colleges across the world. So I think that might have helped. So these are all my assumptions of what could have helped.
Yeah,
That
that's
yeah,
all what I was thinking. So,
yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
know they have their own criteria and stuff, but I just wanted to know, like, what did you think, like,
yeah.
uh, what made you? So, for the when you applied for the first time, did you have you didn't you finish your internship?
No, I
Oh,
think the second time, so the application process, it takes a long time. My application process took at least 3-4 months. Yeah, I think from the time I applied to the time I went to FAO, it took roughly 5 months.
oh,
So
okay.
the application I did during my internship.
Oh, okay. Okay, got you. So the FAO internship was paid.
Yes, FAO internship was paid. You can find all this information on their website. So at the time, I actually did my internship from end of February to end of July 2023. During that time, the maximum stipend for FAO was set at $700 per month.
Mhm.
Yeah. I don't know if they have changed it, but you can find all these informations on their website.
Okay, that's good. So the internships are over, and I think like were you from that batch? Like you got to do like internship outside Kerala for 6 months, and this is 1 year internship,
Yeah,
or
so fortunately and unfortunately, I'm from that batch. I say fortunately because I think it's a good change in syllabus. And I say unfortunately because for us, the whole thing happened during COVID, so we didn't have a choice. So I think right now, people can do internship for 2 to 3 weeks in a different veterinary college. But for us, people from Pukod went to Manuti, and from Manuti went to Pukod. I think that's what they did because of
oh
COVID. Yeah.
oh oh that's sad. Okay, so was the internship in IIT indoor the part of that, or it was a different
No, it
internship?
was a completely different thing. So, IIT Indore was offering online internships for undergraduate students. But those I believe we'll have to pay them a sum. You can also find this information on their website, IIT Indore website, and you can do it online. I did it remotely. So when I applied, I was an undergrad, I believe. But by the time I started the internship, I graduated. My internship was over. I did it remotely. It was more like there were we didn't work. It was like a teaching, mentoring kind of experience. So
Oh,
I would rather call it a mentorship. So we learned things like how to gain literature review experience and use different kinds of softwares for computational studies. It was roughly 2 months.
oh, okay. So it's mostly towards the data analysis and
Ye-
maybe
Yeah,
data
so
science.
it's not exactly. It was more not even biostatistics. So it was mostly about receptor interactions. You can use softwares through which you can study protein interactions.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Structures and protein
Yes.
interactions and stuff like that.
3D
Okay.
models.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Um, IITs have a lot to offer. They're some of the premier institutions in the world. They do groundbreaking research, and I think as veterinarians, we have a lot to learn from engineers and vice versa. So I thought of it as a very good research experience because we are not taught how to do research. At vet
Yeah.
school, we are more concerned about, I mean, it's a professional program. we shouldn't blame the system, because it's a professional program, and it's not a pure science program, and it's not
Yeah.
a research program. So they're doing their jobs wonderfully, but I was interested in research, so that's why I was looking at IITs, ISAs, IASC. So this was the one which went well with my schedule, and I really like the idea of doing a remote internship, which yeah. And there are a lot of things we learned from IITians. So engineers, they do a lot of applied science and pure science research. So they're not just engineers. So they have masters MS programs at IITs. They have combined MS PhDs. So mostly pure science people would go for it. And yeah, they also do engineering advanced degrees as well. So yeah, they're amazing research institutions.
So I think like we have mostly touched the internship part. So let's move on to like how did you find like this PhD in Texas? I know for sure like most of the interviews everybody has mentioned like we have to find the supervisors. Emailing is the first part. And I think like one of the interview we have explained like how to structure your CV, structure your email. So I would like to know like your insights or a little bit where whatever you can add so that it will help the students who are trying to apply.
I think I did the exact same thing. I reached out to professors, and when I was at FAO, I came to know about this research area, I would say, called modeling, mathematical and data-driven modeling. I didn't know what it means back then. I'm still in the process of understanding it. It's been a steep a learning curve, I would say. Yeah, so I've been emailing professors, and I found a professor whose research interests and mine were aligned. And my professor liked the idea and the fact that I did an internship at FAO, and I was genuinely interested in this program, because most of the time professors look for previous experiences and skills, and if those matches their program and what they have in mind for a PhD or master's student, then they'll take you depending on the funding. So I think in my case, just like everything else, this was also a serendipity. I got extremely lucky to get this PhD position at Texas A&M. I work in the Department of Animal Science. Yeah, I think other people have already mentioned all the emailing CV and all. The only thing I'll stress is, if you're seriously planning for a PhD abroad, just look at the institution requirements. So my institution requirement was a PI who had funding, then 3 letters of recommendation, test scores for English language proficiency, and a good CV and SOPs. I mean, enough to get you into graduate and professional school in a US universities. But some universities do require GRE. When I was applying, I initially focused on universities that didn't require GRE, because I thought, first I'll do this, then I was preparing for GRE at the time. So I didn't want to waste time. So I applied for some universities before. Then I thought, if I don't get in, I'll write GRE because that will make my CV stronger. So that's what I did.
Okay. So you finally had to, you ended up taking GRE.
No, I didn't. My university didn't require me to. So I had all the test scores I needed. I had my TOEFL scores ready, and I had all the other application materials ready by that time.
Yeah, I think in US it's some universities require GRE and some doesn't require. Like it's just the English proficiency test they are asking for. In Canada it's different. They just need the English requirement and then your GPA. That's it. You don't need I think like none of the university require GRE. GRE is a thing for US. Yeah, so I think for those who are applying, they should be as you said, like we have to be aware of the university requirements before applying, right? Okay, that's a good point.
One tip I would say is read the university websites very carefully. So when I was applying to University of Pennsylvania, they said if you have a degree which was completely taught in English, you might get a waiver. As I said, everything else, don't quote me on it because this is information from 2022. So
Okay.
I emailed them asking for a waiver because my entire degree was taught in English. So they gave me a waiver. I didn't have to send my TOEFL scores there. So that
Oh,
might save you some money if you read the university requirements carefully.
okay. Okay. So, and would you recommend to write the English proficiency test before applying for the universities or after?
Before, because
Oh,
you don't know when opportunity will find you, and when it finds you, you need to be ready. So
okay.
I would suggest getting a passport as soon as possible. Don't wait until the last minute because especially in India, it takes a long time to get one. And get your test scores ready. Do GRE first if you prefer to because GRE has I think GRE expires in 5 years and TOEFL expires in 2 years. So do your GRE first because it has a longer span of longer lifespan, I would say. Then get your test scores ready, and when you email professors, include those test scores. So even
Oh,
if GPA might be a little bit low, because I know veterinary medicine is a very competitive program and you don't get 10 out of 10 GPA, it's very hard to simply pass the exams because it's a very rigorous program. So even if your GPA is a little bit lower, if you can show that your GRE scores are quite good, that will offset the problem because, okay, you're showing that you can write an exam which is very rigorous and score this much. So even if your GPA is a little bit low, they will take it as GRE. They'll take GRE as an evidence for your academic achievement, or at least that's what my understanding is so far.
I think nobody has talked about that in any of the interviews, so I think it will be a valuable insight. Can you please elaborate on your research a little bit more, like what you're currently doing as as a PhD student?
So as I said, I work on livestock sustainability.
Mhm.
I look at different mathematical and data driven modeling techniques, and some things you might be familiar with, such as machine learning and deep learning. And we are trying to reduce the overall emissions of the beef production systems in the United States. So,
Okay.
reducing emissions at the same time, um, bettering the production efficiency. So it's a systems approach. That's what we are doing here at A&M. It's not a wet lab PhD. There might be some field work.
Bioinformatics? Is it
It's
related to bioinformatics?
not exactly. There is a lot of data analysis involved, and yeah, deriving decisions based on data. It's basically a process of decision modeling. You do a lot of data analysis. You develop a model in order to help you make better decisions.
Okay. So I always thought this bioinformatics section kind of like helps us to do that. Uh, like correct me if I'm wrong, because I had like one of a friend who was working in a bioinformatic labs. This is the exact thing they do, like but using codes. I think like using a computer codes, they'll just use a maybe like create a software or something which can actually analyze and collect data and make an analytical model itself. So maybe that's a difference. But you guys are just actually analyzing yourself and making a model yourself.
Not yes and no. So it's not bioinformatics, it's a whole other area called mathematical and data driven modeling. And we also use codes. We use codes wherever machine learning or deep learning is required. So I use Python on a daily basis. So it's not exactly bioinformatics. We are not learning about, let's say, receptor pathogen interactions. We are not looking at things like that. So we are looking at systems as a whole, and we are trying to make the systems sustainable. And my focus is more on policy, how to develop better policies, laws, and regulations. based on data. Like, yeah. So I can provide journal articles if you're interested in reading more of it. So maybe you can add them in the description or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would help. I think so many students. Okay, so you mentioned Python. So you just took a course after coming here as a PhD student for doing the research.
Yes, so I've been learning Python mostly initially it was mostly using online resources. There are a lot of resources available online. You can check them. It's free. There is YouTube. And after coming here, I took a graduate level course. So I took a class on Python and R. I'm actually taking it right now.
Oh, okay, okay, that's interesting. So you already had an experience with Python when you were undergrad,
Yeah,
or
I did.
just okay, okay. After coming here, you just learned it while you were there.
I had a lot of experience with all the most of the Microsoft programs. I did a lot of Excel work at FAO, so I was familiar with all those, but not Python. Python was something I learned for my PhD program. So yeah, I suggest learning Python or R or any coding languages. It will help you do a lot of things. It will make your lives easier, and it's a good skill to have on your CV.
Okay, that's nice. Yeah. Yeah, actually, even I had to learn R software for doing my analysis, but I didn't do much of complicated stuff. I just had to make graphs and stuff like that. So it was easy, but I had to take like an introduction R studio course, R course. So yeah, so it was, I think, yeah, it will come handy when you have to, come and do your PhD or master's here. So yeah, so seen in your LinkedIn about the fellowships you have received. So did you apply for all these fellowships like Barlow Fellowship and Lenner Fellowship? Did
Like
you
that.
apply for this fellowship after coming to Texas?
Yes.
And
Yes. So
oh,
these
okay.
collegial these fellowships were at a college level. So once you are in a program, you'll get emails about a lot of scholarships and fellowships. You just have to review their eligibility criteria. These were from the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences at Texas A&M. Different schools will have different programs and scholarships available. So I applied last spring, yeah, earlier this year.
Okay, okay. So it's like an yearly thing, or you will get throughout your PhD program?
So it also varies
Oh,
for schools. So one of the scholarships that I received, that was a one-time thing. Another is a fellowship which goes on for 4 years.
okay. So it's always there is a chance for you to apply for fellowships and scholarships to support yourself, right? Okay.
Yeah, so as long as you're willing to look for it, and yeah, please read all the emails that you're getting. You'll get a lot of informations from institutional emails. So these part only applies to you once you get into a program. So this is only applicable from an internal perspective within the university system.
So yeah, I think like yeah, and also depends upon the area of your research too, right? So university might have like so many different fellowships, but I think sometimes it will only caters to specific area of research interest. Right?
Yeah, but a hurdle I have seen, especially in international students, is some of the scholarships we may not be eligible for. So just read everything. Keep an open eye. Keep an eye for
And I
things.
also think like it's very competitive because like they always ask for some research, which you have published or which you have done. But when you are coming as an undergrad student, most people doesn't have much research background, so they wouldn't have published anything. So it's kind of hard to even apply for the fellowship because even if you apply, it's kind of like most of the other undergrad students from or like from North America will have like more experience and more research published and stuff like that, at least like one paper published, and their CV look more concrete than us. So I think it's do you find it challenging or um,
So it depends on which type of fellowship you're applying for or scholarship. So mine
Okay.
wasn't focused on research, it was mostly focused on leadership and career interests. So I could show that I wanted to pursue a career in policy because I already did a policy internship and I'm doing a PhD that could help a career in policy. I'm not saying I'll stick to policy my entire life. I also like academia now. But as long as you can clearly articulate what is that you're saying and you can provide justifications for it, and if that's the thing the scholarship granting agency wants from the student, that's all that
Okay.
needs. They'll have rubrics for academic achievement, publications. Publication is one of the many things, unless you are applying for a research fellowship or a research focused scholarship. Then they'll look at publications, the number of publications, and where you have published, the impact of the journal.
Okay.
But
So it's
my
all
case,
about making a really good story out of what you have done, and like, you know, mm, making them believe in what you believe. Okay. Okay. That's actually
passion
interesting.
helps. So if you're actually passionate about the things that you're writing, you can write a lot of things in the application letter. I found myself extremely happy when I was applying for this fellowship because I was writing from the bottom of my heart, and words were just flowing.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think so. Passion is really important. I think, yeah, for sometimes it's kind of like they just want to come here. It's not like they'll just pick up anything what they get. Like, maybe they might not be interested in. So I think, yeah, people should actually stick on to their passion and their area of interest rather than moving, or like, taking a different path and taking a career which you doesn't like, right? Yeah, so that's
You can
actually.
always switch. If you find yourself doing something that you don't like, you can always switch. You can do a master's, then you can switch to something different for your PhD. Then after your PhD, you can do a postdoc in something different but also similar at the same time. So it's all up to you. You have a lot of choice in what you do. That's a good thing about academia in the US, because in India, if you're doing veterinary anatomy, you're supposed to do a PG in veterinary anatomy and a PhD in veterinary anatomy. But here, sky is your limit. You can do anything.
Yeah, career switches seats here in North America. Like, at least I think in Europe too. I think India is only. I won't say India's only place, but yeah, in India it's kind of hard, and it's like all set in stone. Like, we have to do, like, if you're a veterinarian, then you are set to take like a certain path. Like, yeah, it's kind of a little bit difficult. Yeah, so and you mentioned like earlier about like a conference you attended in Ireland, right? Dublin. So,
Yes.
was it during your undergrad?
It was immediately after my internship ended, but
Mm-hmm.
before my exams.
So you were representing our university, or you were just going there?
I was representing the youth involved in livestock production in South Asia. I was a
Oh,
representative of South Asian youth. Yeah.
okay. So how did you end up doing that?
One of the organizers reached out to potential candidates. I think they might have done a LinkedIn search or something. So,
Oh, okay.
and I had an interview.
Mm-hmm,
They
mm-hmm.
had an interview with me rather, and yeah, after the interview, they told me if you are able, I mean, if you have your passport and everything ready, and if you want to be a part of the conference, you can be a part of the conference. And it was an amazing opportunity for me. So I would say LinkedIn helped me in that case. I used to maintain a very professional LinkedIn profile. I used to update it very often. So I think they found me on LinkedIn. And I think they reached out to a lot of people, especially veterinary students. And yeah, I think the interview helped.
Oh, okay, okay. So was it covered? Like the travel expense, the
Yes.
stay, everything was covered? Okay, that's
Yes.
interesting. That was a good opportunity indeed. Okay, and also I think like yeah, just because like I got to know about LinkedIn. Why like not know? I knew LinkedIn. I didn't use LinkedIn very much. Like after I came to Canada, I had like a course which is like with practical skills or something related to that. That was a course, and it was like a non-credit course, but they teach you how to create LinkedIn profile, how LinkedIn profile helps you, how to search in LinkedIn, how to connect with LinkedIn people. So many different course, and this was like a part of that one class. That's when I actually created a LinkedIn profile. Even though I had like a profile, but I wasn't active, I didn't use much. I think yeah, most of, maybe I don't know now how the generation is, they are whether they are keeping a LinkedIn profile update, because like it need to be like if somebody is searching it, they should actually feel like okay, they have like made that effort to keep it update, and they're doing the like they'll get like a maybe like a short info about you by reading that profile, right? So yeah, I would say like most of the people should, like most of the students in maybe in veterinary field, not in general, should create a LinkedIn profile way back in undergrad, so they will get some recognition, or like if somebody is coming like want to reach out to you, it will be a good platform. And also you can also connect with so many different people who has your same interest and stuff like that, right? Okay, so and also I think like but from your interview, I just I have the perceived notion that you have got all your opportunity from LinkedIn, because you were like a good user of LinkedIn. So yeah,
Yeah.
so I think it's a really good platform to get noticed, and also get more of the maybe like career options, or like postings and stuff like that, right? Okay, okay, that's actually interesting. I think I got pretty much everything from what I wanted to know, and also like the last question. So when you complete your PhD in like livestock um, mm, productivity, what are the career options you can have?
It's a tough question because the opportunities are endless. It all depends on how I make use of it. And PhD is, I mean, it's very hard to give an objective view on it, but I would say any animal science program, you have an option to go for academia. You can go for a postdoc. If you're doing a master's, you can do a PhD, then postdoc, then go and try to be an assistant professor or an instructional or a research assistant professor. If that's what you want, you can also go to industry based on skills that you have created, you have achieved. So PhD is also, it will hone your critical thinking skills, but it will also give you a lot of skills, like hands-on skills, if you're doing a wet lab experiments, or if you're performing a specific reaction, or if you're using a machinery. So these are skills, so that will make you a good candidate for industry. And there are NGOs who do policy work. So yeah, so the opportunities are endless. You can simply go and be an entrepreneur. The sky's the limit. You can do anything with a PhD.
Okay, okay, that's good. Okay, thank you, Dr. Saran Mary, for the interview, and it was fun talking to you. Thank you so much for taking your time.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's a privilege to talk to people who are interested in doing more for the veterinary student community. And I hope, yeah, whoever is listening and watching, please take everything with a grain of salt, because my experience might be different from yours, and our backgrounds might be different, and our interests might be different. So tailor your applications to what you want to achieve in your life, and don't waste any opportunities. They wait for no one, so just go and grab them while you can. And yeah, you can reach out to me through LinkedIn. A lot of people do. So my name, I think you already know my name. So simply search it, you'll find my LinkedIn profile. So yeah, let me know if I can be of help. Once again, thank you so much, Dr. Veena, for inviting me. It's been a
Thank you.
pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.